I'm saying that because of the artist that I just spoke to not that long ago that got invited to a party at their house. Everything was cool up front till they went to the back and there was a bunch of old and young boys back there, all naked in the Wade house.
Jaguar Wright outing all the naughty things that have happened or are happening at the Wade residence, all the while conducting extensive public relations for Will Smith and Jada Pinkett. Both of them identify as bisexual. They act strangely in their home, and young men have screamed to leave in order to avoid them and their mentoring. Jaguar Wright claims that Will and Jada were at the Wade residence when the same things occurred, instead of doing whatever it was they were doing at their property.
Meek Mills, Bashir Gray, left that house screaming. August the only one that stayed. And they're both bisexual. They do weird things in their house. And young men have left their house screaming to get away from them in their mentorship.
Baron Richard von Hauptmann, Dwayne Wade's erstwhile business partner, initially exposed Wade with a slew of accusations back in the day. He claimed that because Dwayne had a stellar media reputation and was seen as the next Michael Jordan, he lured him into doing business. Wade was described by Richard as the celebrity dad of the year, a good man with his head on his shoulder, and the father of the year. However, a year later, he discovered he was nothing like that. Richard claims that Wade hosted adult parties in an apartment with his group of friends while he was married. Wade even described the apartment in detail, stating that it was a 4-bedroom residence on the first floor of a tall building. One day, I received a call from the apartment's housekeeping staff. When I descended there, I saw something repulsive. Not for the first time, the apartment was filthy and completely destroyed. Rappers, Dwayne Wade, and his entourage, and men and women they met in the clubs were among the scores of people who frequented the events that apparently took place there 2 or 3 times a week. Even after the party, he recounted the images, claiming to have seen half-eaten food decaying on tables and furniture, empty champagne and hard liquor bottles, used condoms on the floors of the bedrooms, and apparent traces of activity on all the beds. Furthermore, Miss Gabrielle Union was not blameless. Wade reportedly also brought her to the parties, and soon after, she was fully immersed in all that was happening. It makes sense why so many people think the relationship is dubious. In any case, Sylvan Funchess Wade, Wade's ex-wife, alleged in their divorce proceedings that Dwayne gave her an unknown STD that was discovered outside of their marriage at the same time Richard made the accusations. Wade, who was regarded as one of the most devout basketball players, doesn't seem to be who everyone believes him to be. The STD was most likely picked up at one of Wade's crazy parties, which he gladly hosted. Were these events akin to outrageous homosexual gatherings? The discussion about Dwayne Wade hosting gay parties has been going on for a while, and it hasn't helped that there have been rumors over the years that he is secretive. In fact, he added fire to those rumors when he disclosed in a 2021 interview with I Am Athlete that as a child, he used to wear his sister's clothes and heels.
Like I said, when me and my wife looked at each other, right? And the reason we looked at each other is because of this, you know, as kids, I used to put on heels. I used to do all those things. I try to put on whatever my sisters wear. When all my sisters did, I try to do those things.
Boosie, however, made a suggestion on Twitter that Dwayne is gay. He tweeted, "Lol, the world knows I love women, and the world knows your husband loves D." The post was directed at Gabrielle Union. I hope you realize that Black people don't view you two as a power couple. I had declined to discuss you guys in interviews, and now you're the one. You little white girl, go beat him with that D and wait for the script. Haha. In case you're wondering where the Boosie got the idea to write that after writing it, he was really referencing a live Talkslite interview with Gabrielle Union. You got a lot of asterisk on your mind. Gabby said in response to Boosie's previous criticism of her transgender stepdaughter, Zaya, on the broadcast.
You got a lot of on your mind. Sir, something you want to just go ahead and tell us. This is a safe space.
No, for real.
We should be your sanctuary. Perhaps that.
In addition, they encounter a great deal of hate mail directed at Zaya. To give you some context, Zaya was formerly gay until coming out as transgender in 2020. When we first got together as a family, Zaya was the one who stated, "Hey, I don't think I'm gay, right?" She has known that I am a young lady for 9 years, but I don't think she does. Dwayne Wade then submitted a formal request to have her name legally changed to the Los Angeles County Superior Court. But in an opposition that her attorneys filed, Zaya's mother, who was married to Dwayne from 2002 to 2010, requested that the courts reject his petition. In fact, she claimed that Wade was forcing their child to go with the name and gender change so that he might benefit from economic prospects Zaya was presented with. She contended that Zaya ought to wait until she becomes 18 to determine whether or not she is legally entitled to change her name. Wade retaliated once more in a statement that said, in part, "I'm very disappointed that Savan keeps finding ways to censor herself and her needs without regard for her children, even though none of us are surprised by her attempt to fight Zay's identity and her unwavering attempt to drag my name through the mud." As per certain web users, those are merely the consequences of their child being exposed to wild parties at an early age, as the child was reportedly aware of her identity as early as 3 years old. Crazy, huh? Anyone who has lived long enough to realize that homosexual gatherings held at locations such as the Wade house are nothing new at all is also aware of this. The relationship between Amber Heard and Elon Musk dates back to 2011, when Elon and his wife were throwing similar parties, as Jessica Reed revealed in an article. For those who remember, this was a topic of discussion during the Amber Heard Johnny Depp case. Hey everyone, it's all just one giant twisted web. According to the article, circle favorites like Amber were in charge of enticing young people to the party who were primarily gay. Additionally, according to someone who even shared their own stories, they frequently received drugs before going to the parties. Thus, they were unaware of what was happening. It seems that the parties are typically driven by extreme doses of MDMA and contain a lot of costumes, satanic themes, and bizarre performances on stages in front of the guests. Yeah, that's right. Indeed, a well-known guest at the events informed Jessica over the phone that everyone was aware the females were there to amuse the socially awkward billionaire. Jessica was also informed by another source that she had seen films showing what looked to be minors who were invited by wealthy guys and were in awkward situations. However, it was also clarified that the reason it was problematic was that several of the individuals in those recordings were also parties to the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial, and a host of other celebrities, including A-list actors, directors, producers, and athletes, comprised the who's who of Hollywood. The report went so far as to explain how participants in blindfolds assembled at a prearranged site and were driven to a far-off place where artists hung from treetops and cell phones were seized at the door. It sounds like something I've seen in movies, so I'm not all that shocked that this is all taking place in Hollywood. And it seems that Dwayne Wade, Will, and Jada Smith were all a part of that exclusive group all along. It's not for nothing that they refer to it as Hollyweird. That's very strange. Dwayne Wade is obviously not going to reveal anything, but share your opinions with me regarding this whole affair in the space provided for comments below.